beautiful souls. You're tuned into the Our Solaris Podcast with your host, Dennis Bortko.
Hello, beautiful souls. Let me ask you something. How much of your energy did you give away today without even realizing it? Think about it. You woke up, check your phone, maybe scroll through news headlines, social media feeds, notifications demanding your attention. Before you even got out of bed, dozens of systems were already competing for something precious. Your energy, your attention, your life force. Now here's something that may startle some of you. We're living in the age of mass energy harvesting. And most of us don't even know that we're being harvested. And today I want to share with you a perspective. One that reveals the invisible architecture draining our energy, and more importantly, how we can reclaim our power and redirect our energy towards what truly matters, our soul's purpose. Now, let me start with a fundamental principle. One of the most important challenges in our reality for those on a path to awakening is to master where we direct our energy. It's essential to realize that where intention goes, energy flows. We're giving a limited amount of energy that we can utilize on a daily basis, and the question is, where do we direct that energy? What is it that we concentrate on, contemplate on, focus our intention on? What do we spend our time doing in our life? And is it aligned with what we're being called to do here by our intuition, by our souls? Is it aligned with our path? When we feel off, destabilized, or experience signs of depression, that feeling that something's wrong with what we're doing in our life, it's usually a guiding sign from your soul that you're off your path. And the key to staying on your path is to follow your intuition and also to direct your energy on that which resonates with your soul, that which is for your own individual purpose in this reality, something that is unique for each and every one of us. And okay, so after listening to this, you might be wondering now, if this is so important, why is it not so simple? Why aren't we just naturally doing this? And the answer lies in understanding the construct of our system. Our reality is built with a lot of mass distractions. They've been utilized and constructed as forms of media, news, entertainment, and politics. Advertisement agencies have mastered techniques from behavioral psychology and utilize them for various corporations and society in general. And all of them crave for our attention. But what do they really crave for? What is our attention? Our attention is our energy. And these systems have been set up to harvest our energy. You can actually think of them as mass energy harvesting farms. And we'll notice that once we focus on the aspects in our reality that get us off our paths, that get us into this fight or flight survival mode, into our instinctual configuration that keeps a lot of us trapped, this really drains a lot of energy from us. And this is exactly what these constructs were designed to do. They're serving their purpose. They generate this dopamine rush within us. We're ready to fight, to judge, to be angry at someone or something, even at an idea that we don't agree with. In other words, we're ready to give off our energy to whoever is asking for it. And we're doing it without even realizing it. So, as a result, we end up feeling drained afterwards. And you may have noticed that there seems to be less and less time available for you during the day, as if the time just flies by. This isn't just us getting older. This is the quickening of our reality. We literally have less perceivable time available during the day, which is why it's more crucial than ever to only direct our energy on the specific aspects in our reality that are in tune with our souls, that will align us with our paths. There's no time right now for anything else but this, and this is done on purpose. It's either now or never time for souls going through awakening to find their purpose, to find their true path. Now, let me give you a concrete example of how this energy harvesting works in daily life. If any especially shocking mass event gets reported in the news, first it may be a good sign to check with yourself whether any of this news still plays a role for you. Does it serve a purpose? Because what does it do? If any big, shocking event occurs that gets reported in the news that doesn't actually directly affect you, in other words, it's not that something literally happened in your physical space, but something that is reported as world, national, or local news. So what it does is it captures your attention and thus your energy. You start experiencing negative emotions of either anger, fear, anxiety, disgust, judgment, or anything else about an event that in essence has nothing to do with you. It may have to do with other souls, but not directly related to you in the matter of the physical realm where you are in your own space where you're located. Yet it starts affecting you energetically. You start focusing on it, and the energy harvest continues. It's back to that old phrase, if a tree fell in a forest, would you know about it? Horrific things happen constantly on a daily basis. And most of these things, a good majority of them, don't get reported and never make the news. And this is done on purpose because news narratives actually get intentionally and specifically crafted for perception management of the society. They're used as tools of control, not of information. And this is very important to keep in mind. The original Matrix goal was to divide and conquer humanity, which is and has been the most perfect formula of control and thus harvesting of energy. When we pay attention to these energy harvesting streams, when we focus on them, they get us into this certain state of consciousness, a more lower vibrational state of consciousness, where we are in a more compressed state of awareness. And in this state, we're not focusing on our own development, on our own infinite creative potential. Instead, we get into this type of reptilian survival mode. However, our reality is shifting rapidly. What we're doing right now on a collective level as humanity is that we're going on a path towards unification. More and more people are not taking news events seriously or not believing anything that gets reported at all. And then in time, people in general will start to pay less attention to news and mass events. This is the true way of changing the influence of these mass harvesting constructs, by not giving them any more of our energy. And this is exactly what is starting to happen. So, if we're paying less attention and not focusing on these energy harvesting systems, so what are we doing? Now, as you start diving deep within yourself with pure, sincere intention, you'll start feeling what your purpose is and where you're being guided and pulled towards. You will do that as you open up more of the energy potential to receive within yourself. And you'll do that by redirecting your energy from those aspects that try to harvest your energy into the infinite open sea of your potentialities. This is where you start creating more of an open space in your reality for your resident potentialities to come in, for those aspects that are really for you to show themselves to you. And until you consciously redirect your energy towards your own true path, your reality will be cluttered with an array of energy harvesting constructs that are draining your energy and blocking you from your true potential. They're blocking your true potential from being revealed. And as you can see, that is all of your doing. The power is all within you to shift this. Our perceived experiential reality, which we can also call the Matrix, was designed to try to grab your attention using these various constructs. Yet it is still our responsibility, the responsibility of every single one of us, to become aware of this and to be in control of where we direct our energy, what it is that we concentrate on. And this is where awareness comes in and why it's so important to be aware of what it is that you're doing instead of being in autopilot mode in our lives. As you do this, your full potential starts opening up as to what it is that you're here to do and to be. Your reality will start to shift as you will start to realize that you're the one that is shifting. You are the creator all along, at first asleep and now awakening. Now, I would like to share my own personal experience with what I call the information trap. When I first started awakening, I realized there's all this information that has been purposely either misrepresented, completely rewritten, and falsified with different narratives, or just plain hidden from us. This was a very first step for me when I started to dig deeper into the way our reality works, the world works, politics work, etc. But then it also got me to a point where I got so deep into it, so deep into these various rabbit holes, that it trapped me and actually affected me energetically. I started feeling like everything was doom and gloom. Everything started feeling negative. And this is actually another aspect to the energy harvesting construct. They don't really care how they get your energy. They want you to focus on them. So you may have noticed that some that have been deep into conspiracies for a long time do not project an empowering, positive, energetic state. They're also being harvested for energy, but from another side. Now, information is very important. Resonant information in full resonance with our souls is even of more importance. The key to all of this is balance. Whenever we're exposed to any information, it's important to balance it with our soul essence, with what's really going on here in this reality. And what's going on is that various aspects of Source, embodied as different humans, are having a unique yet collective human experience. We're all playing a game here, and everything, whether positive or negative, is our creation and experience, as that is the creation of Source, which is us. Do you see how powerful and empowering such a perspective is? Let me repeat this. Think about this. That everything, like we're all playing a game here, and everything is our creation and experience. Because what? Because that is the creation of Source, which is us. This is always important to keep in mind, to keep this perspective when we're being exposed to any information, especially more hidden, disturbing information, so that we don't fall into this trap of polarities, of good fighting evil, because that is exactly what the Matrix wants. Remember, it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to these energy harvesting systems where you're directing your energy towards, as long as it's not towards yourself. What's important to these systems is your unbalanced state of being, where you're more easily manipulated to give off your energy. So the question is, do I need to pay attention to the daily news that either plays on your local television channels or the streams on your streaming services or the internet? Any way that you get the news or various internet publications mixed all along with social media, just that in itself, just visualize all that. Imagine how you're completely overwhelmed by an influx of informational streams that have been specifically crafted to keep you in this fight or flight fear mode, or anxious or angry. Some of us are so hooked into so many of these wires without even realizing what it's doing to us and how it's literally affecting our reality to a point that it's a drug with a very, very negative side effect. And this is when we switch from deciding and doing based on what we're being told to do to being guided by our own selves, our higher selves, our intuition, our soul. This is when we truly start embodying the aspect of who we truly are, which is Source embodied, having a human experience. So how do we actually do this? How do we break free from these patterns and disconnect from these energy harvesting constructs? If your choice is to disconnect, it can be a difficult drug to get rid of. Once you start disconnecting various connections that have been feeding off of you, you'll notice withdrawal symptoms. When you start changing your conditioning, it may not be that simple. But if you feel and believe your soul guidance, you'll get through it. And here's what I recommend. Start with 1 week. Tell yourself, okay, I'll try to do this for a week starting on whatever day, Friday, Monday, whatever day. I'll disconnect myself completely from news and I'll do it for a week. See how it goes. And then as the week goes by, tell yourself, okay, let me try another week. And then as you go longer and longer, all of a sudden you realize that your conditioning is changing. Your habits are changing. You're actually no longer craving this. And this is how you reprogram yourself. The key is about 2 weeks in plus. This is when you really start feeling this. The first week, you may start getting more withdrawal symptoms. After all, addiction is an addiction. So if this resonates with you, try it out and then see what life starts bringing you. Observe what potentialities open up and how your life starts shifting. just from that one thing. It's possible, especially if that one thing took a lot of your energy, a lot of your time. Your worldview may change completely. All of a sudden, the world that you thought was doomed, that you had a negative perception of, may completely shift to you having a positive perception. You start feeling the energies of Earth, the true energies of this reality, not of those informational streams that are affecting you. Now I want to return and talk a little more about these energy harvesting constructs. These constructs set up by the Matrix, there's a term for it, egregore. They're basically these informational fields that can actually be looked at as entities all in themselves. And they're also in conflict among themselves for your energy as well. Because the whole Matrix system was set up in conflict. If you pay close attention to the way our society has been structured, it's based on these egregore systems of conflict. Whether it's corporations, politicians, or countries fighting for domination, it's the same construct based on the illusion of fear and scarcity that were programmed into the Matrix. Think about the true meaning of the phrase survival of the fittest, and how many of us are programmed with this fear and scarcity based term. But here's the truth. Scarcity and fear are illusions. We're infinite beings. We're source embodied. There is no such thing as scarcity or fear in our essence. It's just the programming of our current experience in the Matrix. Programming that we identified with as reality, which also played its role. After all, we created this experience for our own collective evolution. Always important to keep in mind that we are the creators. We're source embodied, having a human experience. And now, as we do this energetic news detox, which may lead us to completely shifting away from these energy harvesting constructs and to shifting our life in general, we start disconnecting from these energies and we start changing the energetic system of our reality completely. Because imagine, not just one or two people doing this. When it's done on a massive scale, thousands and thousands of people that into millions start doing this, we start forming a new collective reality. We start projecting a completely different reality. And this is how it starts. This is how it's possible, with every single unique individual soul doing this. And we can all do this. And we're actually doing it. From a quantum perspective, it's done. So let me bring this all together. Today we've explored how our energy is being harvested, how the systems of media and news are designed to keep us trapped in survival mode, and most importantly, how we have the power to reclaim our energy and redirect it towards our soul's purpose. Remember and internalize the key truth that you already know deep within yourself. Where intention goes, energy flows. You are the creator, not a victim of circumstances, but you are source embodied, having a human experience. And the power to shift is always within you and your responsibility. Your reality will change when you change, when you direct your energy. And let's go back over our redirecting energy detox. Choose a start date this week. Pick a day that feels right. Disconnect completely from news for 7 days. No TV news, no news apps, no scrolling through headlines on social media, and observe what comes up. Notice the withdrawal. Notice what wants your attention. Redirect that energy. Use the time you would have spent consuming news to dive deep within yourself. Meditate, create, connect with nature, and ask yourself, what is my soul calling me to do? The more open space you allow for your own being, the more answers will start coming into the open space that you just created for yourself. Observe the shift. Pay attention to how your worldview changes, how your energy changes, what potentialities start opening up in your life. If it resonates, continue. Try another week, then another. Watch your conditioning transform. And remember, this isn't about me convincing you of anything. This is about you asking yourself, does this resonate within me? How does this feel? Follow your intuitive soul path. Follow your guidance. That's the key right now. And in closing, I just want to say, you are a beautiful being. You are source embodied. That is so amazing. Every single one of you is so unique and so perfect. The question I opened up with was, how much of your energy did you give away today? And tomorrow when you wake up, ask yourself a different question. Where will I consciously direct my energy today? Because when millions of us start asking that question and acting on the answer, we don't just change our individual lives. We create a new collective reality together. And the time is now. Right now. I wish for every single one of you to master directing your energy. Thank you.